Yes, queen, slay! Slay! Slay your enemies! Ruler of one of the realms of men! Smite down those that oppose you!
Are you stupid and don't know how to put on makeup? Yes, I'm talking to you. It's okay to be stupid and helpless because that's why I'm here, mommy. It's not about working harder. I don't know which idiot told you that, but it's rather about mastering basic principles. Today's your lucky day, ladies and brother slays. Actually. Yes, men should learn how to put on makeup. Like, it should be part of the premarital counseling course. Like, who else is gonna tell beautiful women we need to touch up on our lip liner? Get with the program. So I don't know if you needed more light, but I'm giving it to you anyways because I'm just like that. Okay, first off, we're going to be covering products, like chemical formulations and stuff. Just kidding. And we're gonna go over expensive version and cheap version because I used to be a broke hoe. I still am. Where'd all my money go? My Roth IRA ate it all up, okay? I'm sorry. I didn't pay for 98% of my makeup, so totally get the girls who want to spend like $5 or steal from their sister and like slowly build up their collection. You know, I get it. So yes, we're first going to be covering products and then we're going to be going over instruments. Since you guys are stupid and babies, as of right now, primer doesn't really matter. Moisturizer matters more because if you look crusty underneath your makeup, you're gonna look even more disgusting with makeup on. I'm just being honest right now. It's facts. It's just logical. But for real though, like when I was younger, I didn't used to moisturize and then I had like permanent incrustations of cracks in my nose. And then when I tried to put on concealer like the first time, I was like, why does it look so horrible? And it's because you're crusty and dusty. You can't expect makeup to fix that. You can't expect a product to fix that. You need to drink water and you need to moisturize. When it comes to moisturizer and sunscreen, Delulu is not the Salulu in this situation. There's a reason why people used to die so early. It's because they didn't wear sunscreen. It's like food. Okay, first we're gonna start off with this and this. And what is this and this? I'll explain. This is for the girls who are paranoid about P. acne. P. acne? Cutibacterium acnes, which is it's basically bacteria that causes acne, whatever. It's like antimicrobial. It's basically just salt and hypochlorous acid and water. It's good for after you come out of the gym and you're sweaty and nasty. If you just like to clean your face throughout the day, sometimes use it to kind of sanitize my hands and then also just spray it on my face. What it is good for is for dermaplaning and then also before waxing, before I do stuff and touch things and whatever. This is not 100% necessary, but I like it. And it's for people who are a little bit more extra, a little bit more cautious, kind of borderline germaphobe. That's if you're like that, if you're like me. And then I like this moisturizer for underneath makeup because I don't think it interferes with the process. Like sometimes you'll use some products and then they start pilling. This usually doesn't happen with this one. It's good and basic and family friendly. We're keeping actual makeup products to somewhat of a bare minimum, and that's asking a lot out of me. You know, I'm that person with 50 products on my lip. And then somebody asks me and I'm like, you know, I will tell you, bro. I'm gonna tell you everything I use and where I got it from. It's to the point where it's kind of like, I'm not trying to gatekeep. I'm just so extra sometimes that it's like... Okay, for base, the things usually needed are foundation, not 100% necessary, concealer, blush, contour, and then setting powder and setting spray. But this is tailored to you individually. A lot of people don't need half of the things that I'm going to be using, or some people want to do more. Sometimes you can just do concealer and then setting powder and mascara and then lip liner. I feel like the things that you cannot negotiate on, in my opinion, are usually concealer, setting powder, 2 lip liners, a good mascara, or good lashes. No, not even good lashes. Lashes, you can make the cheapest, maybe not every single horrible style work, but lashes, they're forgiving. They're really forgiving. So I'm going to be showing some expensive variations of products that I like using, but today I'm actually going to be using the cheaper drugstore, beauty supply store, bro. My baby. I think one day I kind of want to vlog going into a beauty supply store. I heard my mama. Like some of the stuff that I own is literally like Cocolicious, Aesthetica Couture. Like it's just like funny ass names and you know they belong in the dollar store. But I love them for what they are. I don't care how rich I get. Like I'm still going to be liking the things I just like, you know? Like the Ruby Kisses lip gloss. I just don't know what it is about it. It's sticky, it's kind of nasty, but I love it. Like sometimes tacky things are like guilty pleasures. I feel like the things that you cannot compromise on as far as quality, and that's not saying that cheap products can't be good. Concealer and setting powder and then sometimes eyeshadow are things that are not really like as malleable as far as like being super cheap or not quality and that you can necessarily 100% get away with. Like, I will notice a huge difference when I have a shitty concealer or pretty bad like setting powder, I've noticed that it just won't look right. But everything else nowadays, like there's so many products out there that I feel like it's really customizable and you can find things that work for you at a very cheap price. Okay, but another thing, this will be a disclaimer, right? I have to compile a list of beauty brands that I no longer necessarily want to 100% condone because products be bomb, but like don't bomb Palestinians. Pretty girls don't support genocide. Like, I'm sorry. You just can't be pretty and do that. It's an oxymoron. It just doesn't work. This is the actual breakdown. Starting off with foundation and concealer. Blush. Basically done all at the same time as it makes sense. It's easier. You're trying to get this done. You're trying to get this formula down. You're trying to wake up at 8 a.m. and figure this out and have it done within 45 minutes, you know? At least 45 minutes. Okay, foundation. Like, e.l.f. Halo Glow, amazing. When I'm not using e.l.f., I use a couple of different variations of things, but the thing is that these foundations fall into different categories as far as texture and finish. I'm going to assume that most people want a natural look, especially when they're beginning, because they don't want to be looking like Boo Boo the Clown. I do not know the retail price of this. It's somewhat of an indie brand. I love it. It looks amazing on aging skin. One of those like natural-ish brands. It's not necessarily like artistry brand, but this is Perlice. It's indie, so it's not like owned by an umbrella companies. I like this BB cream. Good coverage too. I'm a Glossier girl, so I don't care what nobody says. Like the millennial part of it, no, it's a millennial brand, but like this is millennials doing it right. I'm a Glossier girl. I can't help it. And then there's Huda, right? The thing is about my Huda foundation is it's really full coverage, but my problem is that my skin color has changed. So my skin color has changed and the ones that I have are actually like, they're all darker. So she sent 3, but then my skin change, it's like gone like 3 up, if that makes sense. That makes me sad, but these are really cool. These are mixers. I need to get the other 3 primary colors so that I can mix so that they shade match me. But if you're not into advanced stuff, that's not gonna make sense, okay? Next for concealer. So we're going to be using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. Do not... I catch you. I have not heard a single person say that they like the one with the black top on it because that shit, I don't know what it is. It just doesn't work. It looks nasty. And I was so surprised. I was like, what the heck? Because I used this one before I used the other one. My skin is kind of dry-ish. And so I never gravitated towards the one that was like 16-hour wear or something. I like hydrating products way more. And so I was like amazed by how good this is, the coverage and everything. But the other one, just don't be blending. Like, I don't know if I'm not doing it right. I need to be doing something, but like it just looks really nasty. Don't get the one with the black top. I don't know, something going on in them labs. I don't know who's doing ooga booga in there, but yeah, the formulation is a little bit whack for me. High-end concealers. Giorgio Armani and Too Faced, and also Huda, like also the Dior one, but we're not gonna be talking about that, okay? Ya Allah, make these people stop supporting the idea of Emmy. And me and her with me all the blush. Today we're gonna go with talking about cream blushes instead of, there's so many different types of blush. I'll mention one powder blush. These are all 3 of these are drugstore. I really like the Physician Formula strawberry one. I don't know, but I wish that red, when it first came in the packaging, it had like strawberries all over it, and I really liked the redness that it added, but then it just came off. Like, so it's a really pretty pink color. This is powder, so that's gonna be different than cream. Also, this is really liquidy. This is a Milani. I don't even know how old this, I don't even know how old it is, but I still be using it. I really like this. It's not that pigmented, but I like it. And then these are like the e.l.f. Putty blushes, but they're very different consistencies. This is very liquidy, and then these are like scrape it off. These are good for clients. I feel like these are really nice because you can mix it and match it. It's a little bit more, oh my god, artist. Setting powders. I love this, but I hate Maybelline. Glossier. I love these 2. These are awesome. Oh, and then there's one by Clinique, but man. Okay, like I said, this Ramadan, we can all make dua. These beauty brands stop supporting he who must not be named. These 2, contour. So contour and highlighting. These are amazing. I don't even know. This is like what, Ace Beauty and Aesthetica. I do not know the retail prices. I would have to search that up. I might put it in the description box. I might put the links to products. Lip liner! Girl, it's like Wet n Wild, and this is like, oh, Ruby Kisses. Oh, not drugstore. This is beauty supply store. Amazing. Like, actually, these are really good dupe for the NYX butter glosses. Like I'm saying, cheap stuff works. Okay, I think this is a good investment. For you beginner stupid people, I need to stop being rude to you guys. My beginner babies. As your mommy, I suggest that you get this. This is Kaja. I love Kaja. I really like this. This is like a magnetic, sensory, tactile fidget toy in a way, but I love playing with this. Basically, brow gel, clear mascara, but one is like thin, so it elongates, and then the other one adds volume. I think this is really good. It lasts a long time. I just love it. And then this is just the setting spray. I think that's all, ladies. Oh my god, I forgot to talk about lashes. The most important part. Lashes, the most important part ever, and I will never forget this. I found these at Burlington Coat Factory. This is where I got introduced to these lashes. If I could have a lifetime supply of LaFleur 3D Lash CW312, I would be happy. You know, these, I don't know what it is, but they do something for me. They itch my brain in the right way. But considering the fact that you might be stupid, I'm gonna say that lashes take time to learn how to do. Bro, makeup is a process. Makeup takes time to master. I don't know if I suggest a baby to start with lashes, but sometimes lashes, once you master them, you can go outside with just lashes and you're good. Maybe a little bit of lip gloss and you still feel pretty. That's why people like lashes. Sometimes they're really hard to master. It'll probably take you have to be trying it a lot. Even when you're good at putting on lashes, it can still be hard. And sometimes you'll always have that one inner corner that's just coming off. I hate it. I hate that. You know, that's a pet peeve. And if I know that I see that inner corner coming up, it's gonna bother me for the rest of the day. And I can't stop thinking about it. If you get annoyed with little details and you're not good at something yet, I don't suggest going all in. Let's get started. So with these, what I really like about it is the gigantic doe foot applicator. I feel like I have a hard time finding a perfect match. I'm in interesting skin color. What I like doing, I will mix. I will use different colors of the same product or just different products. The thing is about darker, you want to go along with the shadows of your face. So darker products should be going in certain areas, and then the lighter products will be going in the areas where light hits your face. That's where the whole concept of contour and highlight comes from. Because you're babies, you don't have to be using that much. You really don't. You just want to be blending things out. And even if you're a beginner, you can just start off with concealer. Because I'm using a concealer that's lighter, that's why I'm using a little bit of darker foundation so that the concealer doesn't look too light. That's why people have all these different colored products. Some lighter concealers that will go along with the darker foundation. And in some weird way, it works. This one's the easiest to put on. This is in 120. Placement matters. As I put it all on, you're gonna see the general placement of things. Sponges. If you're lazy, you're gonna wanna get a pack of these. I'm pretty sure they sell them at any drugstore if you actually look for them, or you can order them online. But these are amazing. I really like them because they're disposable. If you're too paranoid about bacteria, like me, you also will benefit from getting a pack of these. Having them always on hand. Whether you're a makeup artist or just in general, you like not having to wash things, disposable sponges are a really good thing. Okay, contour. I like to use any type of dense brush. You can get bigger versions of this, smaller versions. It does not really matter. And what I'll do is I'll mix different colors. Same thing like what I do with my face. I'm never gonna necessarily stick to one color because your face just isn't like that. Your face is made of a bunch of different colors. I think nose contour literally deserves its own video, and I feel like even I have yet to find a nose contour that works for me, like a style, because there'd be hella crazy styles out there. Okay, sometimes it'll be something that's trending and I'm like, my nose is a very particular shape and it just looks horrible using that style. What I like to do is I start out with blending the darker parts and then I'll go into the lighter parts later. If a part of my face has a color that's actually too light, part on my sponge that's dark is going to mix with that and it's going to even out the color. That's why I will start off with this part of my face, and I can always blend down and say a color is too dark. I can also blend down and make this lighter. Big brain, big brain. Usually I'll blend out the blush last. Otherwise, I think can be easily covered up by the foundation. So you want to be going in a tapping motion, and you do not need to press hard. Like, I think some of y'all, I see y'all slapping your faces. Like, and obviously I'm in esthetician school right now. I think we did like, what, 1 week on makeup. Like, I think periodically sometimes they'll have us do makeup on each other. And one thing I noticed is like pressure, it should be the opposite with facials versus makeup. And when it comes to your face, more pressure is worse. You shouldn't be using pressure. Client or whoever you're doing makeup on should not even necessarily detect the fact that you're doing anything, if that makes sense. Like, they should barely feel it. You know, honestly, like, I understand wanting to beat someone's face, and that's like that terminology comes from, but you don't actually want to be beating somebody's face, like, because it's annoying. That's the reason why I like doing my own makeup. If I get it done by another person, I've noticed they'll be like super harsh, and I just control issues. I'm like, don't touch my face, bro. Like, please do not touch me. Oh my god, I have a question. So like, people in the comments, do you want to get your makeup done on your wedding? I'm asking as if I'm getting married like tomorrow and I've never even met somebody, but do you want to do your own makeup on your wedding, or do you want to hire someone to do it? I feel like most people don't want to do their makeup on their wedding. I don't know. I have yet to know. I think I've come to the point where I feel like I know my face better than anyone else. Unless it's like, I don't know, Pat McGrath who wants to do my makeup, or like even Makeup by Mario. Unless it's them, I feel like oh my god, there's this one guy on YouTube that I really love watching. He's like some Arab guy. I feel like he's from Dubai or something. And his name is Hindash. I love him. Like, he's so good. Like, amazing at makeup. And like, if I'm being honest, unless it's someone with that level of technique and like precision, like the deeper you get into it, the more you'll like see things. It's kind of like getting into doing nails. You'll notice all the tiny little mistakes and all the tiny little things that people do that you're like, oh, I don't like that, or I do like that, or I don't know, you just notice. It's like Picasso and Van Gogh versus stuff that ends up in Walmart or like Home Goods. Copy and paste. There's a difference. And as you'll see, by the end of it, in a way, you will not be able to tell the difference between my skin and the makeup. It depends, right? Some days end up better than others. Some days you're like, whoa, that was like blended out so well because you took the time to do so. But if you're running out of time, that's why it's just better to use less product and then blend it out and make sure it's really well blended. But yeah, I think what I prefer, especially if you're acne prone, you need to understand is you do not want heavy coverage as much as you think you do, unless it's like very, very hydrating and it like melts into your skin. When you have texture, it's going to emphasize more when you have a heavier product and you can see it. And I think the goal is with textured skin is that you want to not emphasize it, but you want to add a little bit of coverage even at that hyperpigmentation, and you're not going to achieve that by using a heavy hand and using a lot of, but you can always go back and, you know, adjust more. If you want more blush, for example, you add more blush. Obviously, I think this blush is not that pigmented, so because my skin color, not like the P. Louise one, right? Isn't P. Louise like a people of color based brand or something? Usually brands that are made by people of color. Like, it was so interesting when I worked at Sephora. I remember that like all the white people would be like, oh yeah, like I don't really like Huda that much, concealer, or like her color. Okay, yeah, so I had a coworker and she was brown like me and we were around like the same skin tone range, and we were trying on like Huda, and I think Huda had the best matches, like, or it looked nice on our skin, but the other people were saying like, oh, it doesn't look that good on our skin. And then I realized, I was like, oh, it's literally made for us. Assuming if all brands were made for you, you're not going to notice a difference or complain about it when it doesn't work for another person, if that makes sense. No wonder like a lot of people didn't have problems. Like, I'm so glad that I was born in the era that I am, because, you know, I love the amount of access that we have to certain things that I don't think we would, obviously we wouldn't be having access to. Like makeup in like the early god knows what years, BCs, they was putting like poison on their face. So I'm really glad that I was born in this era. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So yeah, that is our base. Let's set it first. So what I like doing with setting powder on the opposite side. So what I'll do first is I'll go in with a blendy. This is like a fluffy brush. The reason why sometimes I like using eyeshadow brushes instead is because of precision, but a lot of people want to cover their face more. They'll use bigger brushes. For me, I like both, just for different reasons. I like starting off with my under eyes first. Make sure everything's blended out first. If there's creases under your eyes, then you add powder on top of that. It's just gonna solidify the wrinkles, or not the wrinkles, but the fact that it's creased. So I like going in with a tiny bit first. And also, it depends on whether you're a baker or not. I think that's why the world of makeup is so interesting. There's so many different styles, there's so many different types of looks you're going for. And you know, sometimes you may look at someone and you're like, why do they look so unrealistic? It's because they were trying to look unrealistic. The Barbie fake nose type of makeup where they have literal white, you'll like see those people, like they want to look like Imvu characters. That's the look they're going for, bro. Like they're actually going for that like bimbo fenty look. That's what they're going for. And that's why I feel like I don't necessarily judge people for how they do their makeup to a certain extent. Because sometimes you'll meet someone and you know what they were going for, the execution was just not it. And that's okay too. Like I said, it's okay to be helpless and stupid. That's why I'm here. So I like to kind of go over in a very subtle fashion. I don't need people to know that I have powder on unless I want it to look very like it's a completely different look to be caked out. And sometimes you want to be caked out, but as far as someone who's beginning, I'm teaching you how to make it look like skin. And obviously, like, I don't have a setup, like a camera setup. People have like the HD lighting, they have a DSLR. I'm using my iPhone. I'm using my phone. So you're not necessarily able to see everything and how it looks 100%. Obviously, you're not here. I wish you were, but I'd probably get freaked out if someone was right in front of me. It depends if we're having a conversation or not. But yeah, if you want to bake, what I would do is I'd first do that very basic layer first so that there's no creases, and then I would go on top. And then if you had contour here, you can also bake that a little bit. Yeah, this is a completely different style than the very caked out, very bright under eye look. I love that style too. It just depends on the day, depends on what I'm going for. And right now I'm showing you kind of the opposite of that. And if this was really A for zero effort, I would only be using concealer and blush and then setting that and then kind of blending out the concealer everywhere. You don't even necessarily need nose contour. This is something that I'm telling you that you can adjust to suit your needs. And also imagine that I'm going like 10 times faster because I'm not talking to you. I like going out of order. So we're gonna do lips. This is not using any eyeshadow. We're not using eyeshadow today. We're going like I said, this is Bare Beauty natural. No effort. So how I like to outline my lips, I like to overline the Cupid's bow. And also I think this is a really pretty color. This is in Chestnut 711. 711. I always like to outline with a darker color. And also because we're doing simple today, we're either going to be using clear gloss or that like somewhat similar color here. But like I said, on a normal day, I'm using so many different products, and I'm also changing my lip combo throughout the day because I kind of like looking like a different person every single day. I just like doing that. And what you can do, right? Make these the total outer line, you make that dark. And then also, as it goes in, you make that part dark too. And you kind of leave the inner lips kind of bare. And that's when you would either go in with a clear gloss or... We're gonna try this today. Sometimes because this is concentrated, I use a little less than this and then I'll add clear gloss on top of that because I like looking like a glazed donut in that way. I want my lips to look like a river. I want them to look like this. So shiny that you can see yourself in them. That's what I want my lips to look like. I know you know what I mean. Actually, let me add a little bit more setting powder on my forehead because I realize that I also don't like the oily looking forehead. There's specific areas I want to shine a little bit, and usually those areas are like here.
Hello everyone. How are you? Fine, thank you.
Oh my god!
I wish I were a bird.
なんであんた英語喋っとるん？
娘がアメリカに行くのです。
鳥やったら？
鳥ではない。
Kohal, kajal, sorma. It just depends on whether you get it in powder form or if it's this like really cool stick. But don't be insulting our people by calling it kohl. Kohl what? Like kohl from Love is Blind? Don't be doing that, bro. Don't. So usually I love looking like a raccoon. Sometimes really like doing the whole thing. But most people just like to do their waterline or their upper lash line, and that's it. But I like looking like twins with my cat. Also, most people can't keep their eyes open. It takes practice. And also, you're never gonna catch me being one of those people who opens their mouth while they're putting on mascara. I just can't do that. I'm not built like that. And I just can't do it. Or I probably just refuse to do it. I just can't. You're not gonna catch me lacking like that, bro. You don't have to open your mouth like the world is ending to put on mascara. And I'm not making fun of you because you're a baby, but I'm talking about the people who've been doing makeup for years and their mouth is gaping open. Okay, so this is how it looks with just mascara. I'm gonna go put on lashes and then show you how it looks. Let's be honest, most of our moms hate lashes and they think that I look like caterpillars. It's not like they're 100% wrong, but who doesn't want butterflies on their eyes? Because I do. Why can't I find my scissors are right here. I love stealing my dad's surgeon scissors because they're the only ones who get the job done. Everyone else is lacking and gets no bitches. Like, also, I am sorry if a lot of like the things I say just don't really make sense to you. I just can't help it. I sometimes like cutting a little bit of like the inner corner ones so that they're not sticking out too much. I cut it to fit my eyes because I have pretty small eyes and I do not like putting it in the inner corner. Also, these look so much worse than when they're actually on. Like, I'll show you, bro. Bruh. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but I like have a freaking bone to pick with this applicator. Either way too much comes out or it's like blocked and disgusting. I just don't like this type of applicator. It kind of feels like a minimum wage job. Like, you don't really know why you're there or why it exists, and it's like suboptimal. They work for a little bit, but then also smell. But I just don't like the packaging, or I don't think it's efficient. I like the brush one on more because I can like take it and I can take the brush and put it on. But the brush problem is that it'll also bunch up around here. And so sometimes oxygen gets in and then part of it dries up, and then it's just not fun because then it doesn't last as long. I'm pretty sure it's hard to formulate packaging for eyelash glue, but that's why engineering exists. Like, we're not mid-century Neanderthals. Oh my god, it's an A for 0 effort. Wait, let me actually show you. Let me show you how it turned out. That's what I'm telling you. This is like, she tried, but she didn't. She got an A. Tell me what else you want to see. And bye. Not mid-century. When were Neanderthals a thing? And do you believe that Neanderthals were human? Let me turn on D&D because, like, why is everybody texting me right now? Where is my brain? Why are my frontal lobes fried right now? So I just got my blood drawn, so let's drink water because I don't want to faint. Apparently you're supposed to drink like 2.5 of these a day. And I was searching it up and they were like, oh, for feminine hygiene, something like that, like a good pH for women, you're supposed to be drinking like specifically 91 ounces or at least 91 ounces of water. But like, who came up with that number? Like, who? I don't get the math in a lot of these things. I just don't get the math. Like, I don't know if this is a TMI question, but as far as like piss color, like, is it supposed to be clear? Like, is it supposed to be light yellow? Obviously we know like brown is bad, like in this context, right? My brain, I wish I could like translate my brain or like put it on a projector so that people understand what is going on and why I changed the topic so much, but it all makes sense to me, is because I'm literally having a conversation with myself, and I assume the other person is like in on it and they're not. Okay, the thoughts that are going in my brain right now are like, okay, how do they average this stuff out? And also, I wanted to mention that I had no idea what piss actually was, and I realized it's recycled blood. It's so weird. Sorry, like after I took like a physiology class and biology class, I was like, you ever like come out of STEM classes, you're more confused than when you just first started? With me, any type of subject, the further I go into it, the more confused I am. It's like a tree that branches and branches and branches and just never ends. It's like, that's how my brain works, but like, it's faster, it moves faster than other people, and I have to realize that like I have to slow down in order for another person to understand what I'm trying to say and articulating myself properly. It just takes time. It takes time for me to write things down and then re-articulate them so that it's like concise. It's like a death sentence number if you don't drink this amount of water. And like, also, what about like the I'm short girls versus the 6 foot tall girls? Like, I don't know who came up with this number, and like, is men Do men need more water? I could probably ask Google. Why am I asking you? Google is my best friend, okay? Who else is going to understand me? But even Google don't be answering my questions like that. Like, Google be slacking. Google is like, it's like comparing Siri to Alexa, or like the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Doesn't the taller person need more water? I know it has something to do with like standard deviation and like that bell curve and whatever, right? But it still just never clicks for me.